engineers who have a theme on industrialization for economic and job creation. It is a befitting theme as we work as a government to address the challenge of GDP to manufacturing, which is one way we need to really grow our economy, create job opportunities, make our economy competitive in terms of really attracting industry in our journey to industrialization. So it's been my pleasure to open the convention this afternoon, and the engineers will be here looking at this particular agenda, industrialization for economic and job creation for the next 3 days. As Minister for Roads and Transport, we are a big contributor in terms of opening up industry, in how we build our infrastructure, how we attract investment into this sector. We do know that even as we build infrastructure, it's a very expensive venture, and therefore you've had lately the need to bring in private capital, private foreign direct investment through PPP, which is a way of really catalyzing the growth and ensure that we attract new capital in the infrastructure space by allowing investors to come in on an agreed framework where we can accelerate the development in infrastructure in the energy space. We are doing that in housing, we are doing that in water to make sure that we do leverage on the private capital, because we cannot continue taxing Kenyans to be able to build our roads, to be able to generate power, to be able to build the houses. So the challenge given to engineers is to work with us in the journey to ensure that we do industrialize, we do grow our economy, we do create jobs by leveraging on some of the competitive advantages that accrue in our country, including the energy sector, which is 92% renewable today, including the distance to market as we open our special economic zones like Dongokundu or Naivasha, where we have shortened the distance to market by ensuring that the standard gauge railway is built all the way to that special economic zone. billion on all our major infrastructure. We have been very ambitious in building the infrastructure, but because of the exchequer allocation, the little resource we have is not enough to meet and support the requirement of our infrastructure development. That's why I've talked about building our roads on PPP. We'll be looking at building the road in Mozambique on PPP. We are looking at the dualing of Mombasa Nairobi highway on PPP. But more importantly, we are working currently to settle the pending bills, and we are trying to leverage on securitization of some of our road maintenance levy to be able to settle this challenge and unlock the contractors to go back to work. You do know that most of the contractors are down there too, because granted, they have done the work, they have given us certificates, and we've not been able to pay. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we are working to securitize some of the road maintenance levy and be able to settle all the pending bills, get the contractors back to work, and sort out that challenge.
Maybe what kind of opening of the 31st IT International Convention? Grateful that we have a representation of the government, the cabinet sector of roads and transport. The theme is industrialization, economic transformation, and employment creation. We're looking at the bottlenecks that we face to rapidly industrialize this country, because we have said that every 2 engineers, 1 is unemployed, and we believe one way of addressing this menace of unemployment is rapid industrialization. We believe that we need to create an enabling environment through our legislative framework, and engineers are providing this leadership. They are not bystanders or spectators in these issues. And we have offered a hand of cooperative, constructive engagement with the government, because this is necessary to be able to inject what we need. We have excellent human resources, human capital. We need to make an enabling environment for people to be enticed and interested in investing in the country. we have a situation whereby because of a difficult operating environment, companies have closed shop, investors have left, they have gone to our neighboring countries. So we also need to improve the competitiveness of our country, not to charge high taxes on the raw materials that we use for manufacturing. And so these are some of the things that we're going to be looking at in this convention through keynote speeches like from the CS, panel discussions from captains of the industry. And this started yesterday. Today we are having the official opening, and this is going to continue tomorrow. And Friday, we expect the head of public service to be the chief guest in our closing ceremony, as a demonstration that we are willing as engineers to take a leading role in shaping the economy and improving the welfare of our citizens at large.
What's your voice on that?
I think there's a lot of work being done, because what is coming out and what is within this fraternity is the registration of all engineers, so that we take more caution and we do know who supervises which building. So what we'll be doing is to ensure that any building being supervised by any engineer is registered and licensed, but more importantly, within the portal, so that we really confirm that they are duly registered, they do understand the strength of materials, they do obey and work within the build environment practices, engineering practices, and therefore that will be one way of mitigating and ensuring that we are able to confirm that any building coming up has got a license, registered, and an engineer within the portal of engineers. That way we are able to ensure that we bring down some of those challenges. We lose so much in buildings coming down. I don't think it's the desire of the developers to have their buildings not be constructed to meet the standards. But it's a practice that if we enhance engineering practices, we'll be able to cut costs for the investors, ensure that they've got solid buildings in terms of strength, but more importantly, the safety of our people is very, very important. So we are working, the engineering fraternity has put in a portal where we do expect to be able to map any building to a supervising engineer, and within the engineering fraternity, that way we'll be able to ensure and confirm that buildings are not being supervised by building people who may not understand the strength of materials, what is a load-bearing column, and then get the buildings tumbling down because they don't obey to the standards as required.
Studies have demonstrated, a study done by National Building Inspectorate, that about 15% of buildings, of all those that they studied, they are safe for occupation. The rest need to be approved for occupation. A similar study done by the Engineers Board of Kenya in 2 counties demonstrated only 14.7% employed or used means that ensured compliance with what is supposed to be done. A similar study done demonstrated that about 20% alone of buildings have used professionals. What that tells you is that as people building, the investors, they are also not engaging professionals. And what we are saying is the investors should understand that not engaging professional engineers exposes them to the risk of the building collapses. And as we are talking, this menace has caused over 3 billion investment to be lost and about 200 lives to be lost since 1996. And so we're saying, as CS are saying, you need to track and make sure that you are involving professionals, engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and that is the only guarantee to make sure that what comes out, there is quality in the design, quality in execution, and you have all the paperwork that is needed up to and including certificate of occupation, which is a demonstration of compliance with the law.
Yeah. National space by also ensuring that they do meet the conventions of the engineering bodies worldwide, including the Washington Accord. And therefore we'll be working with this team to ensure that we do a cabinet memo, we do what it takes to ensure that our engineers do meet the necessary international standards by ensuring that they subscribe to that international Washington Accord and therefore compete, and we do not have to bring in consulting engineers to supervise our roads. They should be able, our local engineer should be able to compete in that space and bring down cost. You know, the challenge of internationalization is the cost of doing business. And when we are using very expensive consultants, when we are using very expensive capital, we will not be competitive. And when we are not competitive, the economic challenge, the unemployment challenge, does become a reality.